Hi, good morning. It's Deb and Mom back with Bowl Me Over. How you doing today? Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Today is day 2 in our 12 Days of Christmas series, and we're going to make a really good recipe for you today. I think you're going to like it. Of course, I always think you're going to like it, but today we're making Toffee Saltine Crackers. People also call this Christmas crack because it's something you can't put down, and it's really easy, so it's another super easy recipe. What we're going to need for this recipe are just plain old everyday saltine crackers, and you want the kind with the salt on them. We're going to use some brown sugar, chocolate chips, butter, and we're going to top it with walnuts today, some chopped walnuts. You could also use sprinkles if you want to keep the holiday theme, but we thought we'd use nuts today because that's what we prefer, right?
Yep, that's what I prefer.
Okay, so let's get started. Mom, if you would measure out a cup of brown sugar, and then I will lay out our crackers. We're only going to need 40 of these, so it's probably going to be just a little over 1 sleeve of crackers.
There's one broken one in there. So.
Uh-oh, well then we might need an extra sleeve. It's going to be really close to that though. You also want to make sure, you know what, do you have a scissor? So that way I don't, if I force it, I'll probably break half the crackers, and I don't want to do that. You're also going to need parchment paper and then a sheet pan with about a half-inch ridge on it, because we're going to be pouring like boiling caramel into that sheet pan. Caramel, however you say it. And we don't want it to overflow the edges. And you definitely want to line it with parchment paper. I've never done aluminum foil. I suppose that would work, but I've always used parchment paper.
I think parchment is better.
I do too for this, yeah. And you want them laid out flat. So Mom's going to do that. I'm going to do this. We'll see how we fit here. This one just seems to be, I think I'm going to just put them, I was going to put them 5 abreast, but I think I'm just going to do them 4.
You got one broken one.
I know. Oh. Because I think it'll just be easier to work with. And there's no right or wrong to the, I'm just laying them this bake side up because it's got a little curve in it. I think that might help catch even more of this stuff. Let's see. So we got about 20 on there now. So we probably...
Would you like a bigger pan?
No, because I don't want the caramel to spread all over the pan. This will be fine. Everybody's seems like a little bit different. I probably could fit that extra one on there, so I think I'm going to try to do that, because that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, let's try to set this one, because we want them to be flat and not overlap a whole lot. So we're going to do our best. So this one's just going to overlap a tiny bit on one end. The reason you don't want them to overlap is because when you break the candy apart, it breaks really easy at a seam if that's the way you have it set up. So that works. Unless in our case, we don't. So we're just going to make that fit as best as we can. There we go. That one's going to fit just fine. I'm going to break just a few of these so they just fit on there a little bit better. That's the difference when I'm doing stuff at Mom's house and not using my stuff and back and forth, which is good because it's probably that way at your house too. Well, just make it work. Okay. Wonderful. Okay, so now I have all these laid out nice and flat. So next thing we're gonna need is the butter. And what we're gonna do now is we're gonna take the butter and brown sugar and we're gonna bring it to a boil on the stovetop. And once it comes to a boil, I'm gonna set my timer for 3 minutes. And I'm gonna boil it for 3 minutes, and I am not gonna leave it side. It's one of those things you certainly don't want that to boil over onto the stovetop, right? Because that would be a really bad mess. But we wanna boil it for exactly 3 minutes. So hang tight through this and watch along. It won't take long. Couple things you're going to want to have handy: a whisk and a hot pad holder. And the hot pad holder, you know, just remember this is boiling sugar. It's going to smell amazing. It's going to smell really amazing. The last thing you want to do though is stick your finger in it. So I always say that, like, even when I'm making jam and stuff, because
correct.
Yeah,
it's really bad.
It's really bad. So make sure you have, if you're using a whisk, which is what I recommend, you're going to want to have a hot pan holder, because as this heats up, it's going to come right up through the whisk too. So be prepared. We're going to boil this for 3 minutes. Mom is busy whisking away. One thing I forgot to mention, I just want to mention really quick, is that we have the oven preheated to, is it 400 degrees, Mom? Yeah,
400 degrees.
400 degrees. And we started that out on high, the butter and the brown sugar sauce. And we're going, once it starts boiling, we're going to reduce the heat, but keep it at a boil for 3 minutes. Okay, as you can see, it's come to a boil, and Mom is busy whisking and stirring away. And we're going to whisk it the entire time for that entire 3 minutes. We have a timer going. We got some hot pan holders, because the last thing we want is to have it splatter and burn, or have it cook over and make a huge mess and burn. So we're going to watch this for 3 minutes, and we'll be back. Okay, guys, so this is a hot, bubbly thing that's happening right here. So now all we're going to do is pour it over the crackers. This is when an offset spatula, comes in really handy. And that was hot. I splattered all over myself. Because we're going to use that offset spatula just to kind of smear it around as quickly as we can. And just spread it over the top of the crackers. And if any of the crackers kind of move around, just use your spatula and just move them back into place. Here we go. Wonderful. That's great. And cover them up as best as you can to the edges. Now this is going in the oven from here, and when it goes in the oven, some of this is gonna bubble up and kind of even out anyway, but you want to get it as even as possible. I'm just trying to push a little more toffee. Is it already hot? Yeah. Push a little more toffee towards the edge of the crackers at the top. Okay. We are set here. Mom's going to put it in the oven. It's only like 5-6 minutes. We want it to be hot and bubbly when it comes out. Thank you, Mom. In the meantime, I'm going to clean up my shirt. We'll be back. Talk first. Okay, guys, timer just went off. This is in the oven. It is hot and bubbly. And remember when I said earlier that, you know, don't touch it? When I set the pan down in the sink, I realized Mom's sink doesn't do that. So I set the pan down in the sink and it splattered on me and it hit my shirt. And when I went to pick that off, it blistered my finger. So I meant what I said. So, oh boy. Let me just bring that a little closer and show you. Is that not amazing? Wowza. Okay. So basically what we have now is the toffee is just floating on top of those crackers. And I'm making a mess of your pan holders, but we'll keep them handy.
Yeah.
I'm going to straighten out a few of our crackers that kind of went crazy there. Not that it matters, but okay. The next step is we're going to take our chocolate chips. We have about 2 cups of chocolate chips. We're just going to pour it right over the top. Just spread them. And I have a mixture of mini chocolate chips and regular because that's what I had. You could use chocolate chips. You could use like a semi-sweet or milk chocolate. You can use white chocolate. Really anything your little heart desires. But we want to make sure we get it all over the top of the toffee because we want it to melt in like a nice even layer. Okay. And just going to spread this out a little bit. And we're going to pop it back in the oven just for a minute. It's fine. We're going to let the residual heat of the oven melt the chocolate a little bit. And that'll just make it easier to spread. One minute and we'll be back. Mom says I'm determined to get stuff on me today. I am. I'm also determined to get stuff on her nice white pan holders. Okay, let's see what we got. All right. This looks pretty melty. Again, the offset spatula comes in really handy here. And see how nice that's spreading? Oh, that looks really good. In fact, I'm going to come get the camera and just show you this a little closer. Okay, so doesn't that look amazing? So one last thing to do, and that's just sprinkle it. And again, you could use sprinkles, like holiday sprinkles if you'd prefer. We're going to use walnuts. You could use pecans, just whatever your favorite nut is, that would work too. And we have about 3/4 of a cup.
3/4 of a cup.
Yeah. And just sprinkle it so everything has a little bite there. And if you have a nut allergy, don't use the nuts. You're fine there. So cool. Into the refrigerator this goes. Let's let it set up. Probably take 15-20 minutes. I'll be back in a few. Okay guys, we are set. We actually cheated a little bit. We put this in the freezer for about 30 minutes just to get it to harden up really quick. And I took a fork and kind of pried the edge out. But once you get the edge, just start the wax paper, and then you can pretty much just pull it right off.
The parchment.
The parchment paper. You can pretty much pull it right off. So that's really easy to do. Why don't we put him away? And now you can break it, or you can cut it into pieces. It breaks. It looks really pretty. I'm just going to cut because it seems a little cleaner. And see? Like the perfect piece of candy. Oh, this is best kept in the freezer. And so since it's not going to be perfectly square, I'm just going to kind of haphazard it because that's kind of more me anyway. Who likes perfect squares? But guys, it's really good. Have you ever tried this before, Mom?
No, I haven't.
Cool. You want to split this piece right
Sure.
here? Here you go.
Thank you.
Give her a try.
Mm.
Mm.
Just a great combination.
Mm-hmm. It kind of tastes like an almond roca, but it doesn't cost $20. Guys, that's really good. And like I said, you can use sprinkles. You could use white chocolate and like, you know, put the chocolate on it, put the white chocolate in like little circles around and then swirl it through. That'd be super pretty. You want another piece?
Probably.
We're going to finish this up. I do thank you for joining us today, and I hope you give this one a try. Be sure to tune in tomorrow for day 3. All the ingredients, if you didn't catch it, all the ingredients, the instructions, everything is below. I'll also include a link for the blog with additional information if you want to click over there. And hopefully we'll see you tomorrow. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.